Hello and welcome in this workshop. Today we're going to talk about the nutrition plan, how to create your own with evidence-based informations. You need to know that you are in the right place. If you tried many different diets, you lost some weight, but you're gaining back afterwards. Or you were thinking you were eating the right food and you still don't drop any fat or gaining any muscles. You can also have tried many different meal plans, tracked your calories, and if everything after that didn't work out, then you need to go deeper and look for better informations. This is where we're here and we understand you because I personally have been there where I was trying to gain weight, to gain muscle, but I was eating plateaus. And without putting my trust in Rihanna's hands, I didn't move on until she made the right plan for me. So I understand you and we're here to help you. We want to help the people that are trapped just like I was in a cycle of over information. You either were restarting a new diet, a new program every couple of weeks, every month, and you still don't know what's not working for you. Well, I've got a good news for you. We're here in this workshop to help you to find out the nutrition, the meal plan that will work for you with evidence-based information. Now, what we found out is that with only exercising the right way without the nutrition, you will get some progress, but you will end up slowing down a lot, if not reaching your limit quite fast. And exactly the same thing, if you got your nutrition on point, but you don't exercise properly for your goals, then you will have some progress, but then you will hit the plateaus and won't be able to move on either. Now, if you accumulate the right exercising program, the right nutrition, you will have a lot better result. And still, there will be some difficulties on your journey. There will be some point where you will choose to not do things where you should have done them. And this is where having someone that will keep you accountable, just like Rihanna, as a coach, a nutritionist, and an exercise scientist, will help you to make the right choices where you need them to be done. And now it's time for you to take your paper and a pen. Make sure you can take some notes because Rihanna is about to jump in to give you all the information that are in the workbook. There is a lot more information in it, but we want to cover the big part for you in the video of the workshop.
Okay, let's get into the science of nutrition. We have a lot in your workbook, a lot of information. So we will go through some of it today, starting off with macronutrients. We will also talk about water, we'll talk about micronutrients, and then we'll go on to how to calculate your requirements. Don't worry if you don't like maths, if it's not your strong suit, then I do have another option for you as well. And then we will talk about creating your own meal plan. Starting off with macronutrients. So what are macronutrients? Most of you probably know that they consist of fat, protein, carbohydrates, and alcohol as well. Each of these macronutrients is important to get every day in large quantities. They play a vital role in fueling the body, in supporting recovery, your hormones, and your health in general, and in optimizing your body composition. So it is important to learn how to balance these because it can make all the difference in maintaining or even increasing your muscle mass, losing body fat, and in long-term health in general. Starting off with protein. First of all, what is it? Why is it important? Protein has a high thermic effect. This means that your body burns more calories digesting it compared to fats or carbohydrates. If you eat 100 grams of pure protein, for example, your body will burn about 25% of it just through digestion. In comparison, carbohydrates, your body will burn between about 10 to 15%, and fats will burn between about 0 to 5%. Why is this important? Well, it means essentially that you are able to eat a little bit more, but you're going to be burning more calories. And so you're actually going to be having less calories left at the end of the meal than if you were to eat a meal that's high in fats and high in carbohydrates. So we do want protein for supporting our muscle mass and also for this thermic effect of food. There are two types of protein. We have our animal-based protein sources and we have our plant-based protein sources. Animal sources include meat, fish, and dairy, whereas plant-based sources include things like legumes, nuts and seeds, and grains. It is important to note that with the plant-based sources, then they do have a little bit less protein and more carbohydrates and more fats in them compared to an equivalent animal product. This doesn't mean that you must eat animal products. It is more just for you to know that if you are on a plant-based diet, it's important to watch the amount of protein you're getting in because it will be a little bit more challenging for you than if you do eat animal products. Then moving on to fats. Fats provide long-lasting energy. They help to regulate your appetite, meaning that you feel less hungry if you include some of them in your diet, and they support your overall metabolic health and your hormones. We have three different types of fat. First of all is our non-saturated fats. This is where most of our dietary fats should be coming from. So things like extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds, avocado, and oily fish. Then we've got saturated fats. They include things like full-fat dairy, butter, and the visible fat on meat. And then we have our trans fats. These are the ones that we want to avoid and eliminate as much as possible from the diet. They include things like your baked goods and your ultra processed foods. Now, a small amount in moderation is okay, but we want to try and limit the amount that we have here, ideally keeping it to zero. But sometimes, if you have a slice of birthday cake or something like that, it is fine. Just making sure that it is not a regular occurrence is important here. And then we've got carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy. They fuel both daily activities and your exercise. We have two types of carbohydrates. We've got complex carbohydrates and we've got simple carbohydrates. The difference between them is in the way that they are processed. So complex carbohydrates use the whole of the grain, or they're made up of starch. For example, brown bread or brown rice. You've got wholemeal pasta, or things like potatoes and vegetables are all considered complex carbohydrates. Meanwhile, simple carbohydrates are not going to use the whole of the grain. So these are your white carbohydrates. Think white bread, white pasta, white rice. They get digested much quicker because they have already undergone a little bit more processing. And you don't tend to stay full for long if you are having simple carbohydrates. So we want to be focusing more on those complex carbohydrates and having that make up the majority of our diet. Then moving on to water. Now, water is extremely important. We cannot live without it for very long at all. Mild dehydration can lead to fatigue, reduced concentration, and impaired physical performance. Staying hydrated is incredibly important. It helps improve our energy levels, it enhances our recovery, and it supports our overall well-being. How do you check if you're drinking enough water? Just have a look the next time you go to the bathroom. Your urine should be either clear or very pale yellow. If it's dark yellow or if it's brown, that is a sure sign that you should be drinking more. Now, let's move on to micronutrients. Micronutrients are our vitamins and our minerals. They are extremely important for health as well, but often they are overlooked. Why are they important? Well, they help to support metabolism, they enhance recovery, they boost immunity, they improve our hormonal balance, and they aid digestion, amongst many other functions as well. Now, if we want to go into a little bit more detail about how to get enough, then prioritize your fruit and your vegetables. These are high in micronutrients and really important for us. In addition, we want to be focusing on lean proteins, so meat, fish, eggs, and legumes, rather than more processed ones like ham or deli meat. Nuts and seeds are important, but we only need about a handful a day of them. And then healthy fats. So these are our unsaturated fats like our avocados, our extra virgin olive oil, and the fatty fish such as salmon. Whole grains are also important, so again, focusing on our complex carbohydrates, and then we want electrolytes as well. Now, if you're unable to eat any of these food groups for any reason, for example, if you have a nut or seed allergy, then you still can get enough of all the micronutrients by having a diverse diet in general. But if you are concerned about this, then get some blood work done and go and see a qualified nutritionist or a dietitian. Let's go on to calculating your requirements. Why is this important? Understanding your nutrition requirements are key to achieving your body composition goals while maintaining your muscle and energy levels as well. If you aren't calculating this, then you are pretty much just shooting in the dark. You don't know exactly how to get to where you need to go while also keeping your muscle mass, which you have worked hard to build. And it is going to be a lot slower progress, and you might feel like you're not really making progress at all. So let's go on and look at some specifics. First of all, protein. We should be aiming for between about 1.2 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day of protein. That is about 20 to 35% of your daily calories, or makes up about a quarter of your plate. Fats, we're aiming for about 0.8 to 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight. So this is fairly low. We need fats, they are very important in our diet, but we don't need large amounts of them. So for fat loss, we do want to keep fats a little bit lower, so between 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, as fats are quite calorically dense, so keeping them low is going to help us be in a calorie deficit. This should end up looking like 20 to 30% of daily calories, not 20 to 30% of your plate, but of your daily calories. So for the plate, it looks like about a thumb-size amount of fats. Carbs, we increase or decrease according to the available calories. Make sure that you are including 2 serves of fruit and 5 serves of veggies per day as part of your carbs, and then you can fill in the rest after that. It should look between about 35 to 60% of your daily calories, generally on the lower end if you are in a calorie deficit. So again, about a quarter of the plate in general, plus about half a plate of veggies. And then water, we're aiming for around about 500 milliliters for every 15 kilos of body weight. So for a 60 kilogram female, for example, then they would be aiming for around about 2 liters per day, more if they're sweating and moving around a lot. Now, how do we calculate requirements? If this is too much information for you, that is completely fine. Just go to the Alan Aragon website and use the calculator there so you don't have to do these equations. If you would like to try it out yourself, then you will be following this equation. So if females, you have this equation at the top, males, you have this equation underneath. So calculate this. You just need to input your weight in kilos, your height in centimeters, and your age in years, and then just follow the equation. Once you have completed that, you're going to multiply it by an activity level factor. If you are sedentary, so you have a desk job and you don't do any exercise, you would multiply that by about 1.2. If you are pretty active, for example, if you have an active job, plus you do exercise outside of work some days, then you will be multiplying the result of the equation by 1.725. So pick the activity level that corresponds with how active you are here. Let's put this into practice with an example. Anna is a 70-kilo female lawyer. She's 160 centimeters, 35 years old, and she trains 3 times a week, does resistance training. So all you need to do is put those numbers into the equation. It comes out with 1,714 kilocalories. So that means that for her to just survive throughout the day, her body burns about 1,714 calories. Now she is lightly active, so we are going to multiply that by 1.375. Just getting that from the previous slide, and then that gives us 2,357 calories per day. That is her maintenance calories. If we then go and put her into a calorie deficit, then we're aiming for between about a 300 and 500 calorie deficit per day. That is a moderate sized deficit. It's not too extreme. So say that we want to put her in 300 calorie deficit per day, then we're just going to do 2,357 minus 300, which gives her 2,057 calories per day. That is going to be her calorie deficit. Then from there, we are going to set her macronutrient targets. First of all, for protein, we're going to set that at about 2 grams per kilogram of body weight because she does do a bit of resistance training, so we want to keep that high. So we're just going to multiply 2 times her body weight, which is 70 kilos, so she's going to have 140 grams per day. Fats, we're going to keep it low during the calorie deficit. We're going to set it at about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So that is 0.8 times 70, which gives us 56 grams per day of fats. Carbohydrates, we just get the remainder of the calories. So we calculate the calories for protein and for fat. We do that by multiplying 140 grams of protein times 4 because there are 4 calories per gram of protein. And then that gives us 560 calories. Fats, we multiply 56 grams per day times by 9 because there are 9 calories per gram of fat, and then that gives us 504 calories. Therefore, carbohydrates is just going to be the remainder, so we go 2,057 minus 560 for protein, minus 504 for fats, and then once we get all of that, we are going to divide the answer by 4 because there are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. And that means she is going to have 248 grams per day of carbohydrates. Again, if this seems a little bit too much for you, just go to the Alan Aragon website and use that calculator there instead. So in summary for this one, Anna is going to aim for 257 calories per day. Macros, 140 grams of protein, 56 grams of fat, and 248 grams of carbohydrates. Now she's got all of this sorted, she can put that into MyFitnessPal or a similar tracking app, and then she can eat sticking to her targets. Now, in the workbook, we have so much information to give you. We've got all about how to build your plate, meal composition, structuring your day, pre and post-workout nutrition, and also about transitioning to maintenance. If you are at the stage where you want to do something, but you are not ready to track or you don't want to do it by yourself, then you can follow this guide instead. It lays out everything for you, and it is going to give you a really good starting block. It also has the foods index, which you can see a little bit down here. So it gives you what a serve of protein is, a serve of fats is, a serve of carbohydrates is for all of these different food options. Again, if you are not ready to track yourself, then you can do a checklist instead. You can focus on hitting goals for each meal, and that will set you up on the right track. For example, breakfast, you want a serve of protein, 1 to 3 serves of carbohydrates, 1 serve of healthy fats, and 1 to 2 serves of fruit or veggies. What does a serve look like? You can see it over here. Now, lunch, again, a serve of protein, 1 to 3 serves of carbohydrates, a serve of healthy fats, and at least 2 serves of non-starchy veggies. Again, serving size over here. If we move on to dinner, you can have lower carbohydrates for dinner, so you might have between 0 and 2 serves. You can have a serve of healthy fats and at least 2 serves of non-starchy veggies again. And then snacks, we want to have a bit of protein and a bit of carbohydrates. The healthy fats is optional. If you don't have much of a fat budget, then we can reduce that. Same if you need to reduce the carbohydrates, then it can just be protein alone, for example, a Greek yogurt. You're going to adjust this as needed based on your calorie and macro requirements. Now, going through some common concerns that we often hear at this stage. If this is you for any of these, please reach out to us. We can help you, and I will explain how. First one is, I don't have enough time. Well, trying to plan out your week, maybe tracking, or even just reaching out to us and us giving you a meal plan, it can help save you time because your weeks are planned out in advance and structure has been added. Remember that changing your lifestyle is an investment and a commitment into your health and well-being. Is this a priority for you? If it is, then you will find time. If it is not a priority for you, there is no judgment there, but that is usually when you decide that you don't have time because it is not as important to you. If it is truly important, you will find the time for it, and we can help you with that as well. Then I'm not sure if this will work for me specifically. This is in regards to our coaching program. So everything is tailored to you. There is no cookie cutter approach. Everybody's journey does look different, and this is why we constantly evaluate your progress and we make changes based on your physical, your emotional, and your mental responses. What about if it's too complicated for you? Well, we work with you to make sure that you are starting off small and you're progressing at a speed that's right for you. We can teach you as much or as little as you want, but the goal is to give you the tools to set you up for life so you are able to do this for yourself long term, not just for a couple of months. And finally, we often hear that I don't have the willpower to do this all by myself. And the good news here is that we are your accountability buddies. Again, start off small and going at your pace so it's manageable for you. You will have to go outside your comfort zone to see changes, but how far and how fast depends on you. One thing to note though is we do only take you on if you are ready and committed. So if you are not too sure, still reach out to us. We can talk through it. But in order to see changes and to see results, you do have to commit. So we only work with people who are at the stage where they are ready to listen and to implement changes and work together to do that. Now, let me pass you back on to Killian to wrap us up.
And now with all the information that Rihanna gave you, you've got for me 3 options. You can either just keep going what you were doing before, guess, feel the frustration, and don't move closer to your goals. The second option for me would be to actually use and apply everything you've learned in this workshop. And if you need a hand, at the end, I will give you our phone number so you can reach us and ask questions. And for me, the biggest change that I've seen on my body is when I actually faced the thing that I was not able to keep myself accountable for the long term. So I had to get a coach, which I'm very happy because my partner, Rihanna, is actually my coach. So it's kind of convenient. But anyway, that's what helped me the most. So if you want to get further, quicker than just doing everything by yourself, or you know that on the long term you won't be self-accountable, then I suggest you to book a 15-minute call. This one will just be to introduce ourselves. See if we are a good fit, then we will be opening our calendar for a 45-minute consultation where we will go a lot deeper to understand exactly what will be your roadmap for you personally to achieve your goals. And keep in mind that we are only opening our doors for only 5 people per month because we have a very unique, ultra personalized approach in our coaching, and we want to make sure we deliver the best ever coaching experience for you. So now, if you have any questions, any inquiry, or you want to step up and move forward to get your goals closer, 0448 388 070, send me a text message workshop or just give me a call and we will be able to help you to answer your questions and or to just book a 15-minute call together.